Hi, welcome to Top Chef University. I'm Arian from Top Chef New York. Course number 3 is all about cooking techniques, and this is your next lesson. Sauteing meat is a tasty way to cook a meal quickly while locking in the texture, moisture, and flavor. It's homemade fast food, minus those unwanted calories and mystery meat. The techniques you will learn today will be easy to remember anytime you feel like whipping up a meal. Let's begin. I love a meat dish that retains all the flavors and juices. Sauteing is the best way to cook a succulent, tender piece of meat quickly. And as long as you learn the techniques and use the right ingredients, there's no need to order in again. So let's first talk about our tender cuts of meat. What we have in front of you right now, I have a strip steak, a bone-in ribeye, and of course you always have your filet mignon, which is a great tender cut of meat. But today we're going to work with these two cuts. But we'll talk about the equipment before we get started. This is our sauteuse and our sautoir. The sauteuse actually has the rounded sides. This is great when you're using that high heat, quick method sauteing, like our basic steak, in and out of the pan, releases that moisture, so it really creates a nice crust on that sides of our steak. Whereas you have this sautoir, which with the higher sides, which I like to do is almost make a sauce. After I saute the meat, we like to create a nice sauce in this. Or I use it for tomato concasse. This actually helps keep the moisture in. And it keeps everything inside the pot. So when we're sauteing or flipping, it's not all over everywhere. So let's start with our bone-in ribeye. I actually really love the bone-in ribeye because the bone just adds so much more flavor to the whole cut of meat. The ribeye is great. It's a fattier cut, but the flavor is just so amazing. So, as we've learned already, a nice hot saute pan, our sauteuse. We want to dry our meat. Very important. No extra moisture on this. Both sides. Dab it with a paper towel. Season. Salt. Both sides. Our pepper. Both sides. Our pan's really warm now, so we're going to add our oil. Again, I like to start with olive oil, finish with that butter, just for that extra richness. Our pan is smoking. You see the smoke? That means it's ready. Carefully place that steak in. You hear that? You know you're going to get a great crust with a sound like that. We don't want to move it. Just make sure it's in there nice and happy. Clean up a little bit. This is going to take, I like it medium rare. It takes about maybe 3 minutes on each side. This isn't too thick either. But depending on how you like it done, obviously if you like it more well done, it's going to take a little longer. The thing about the ribeye too is that it is such a tender cut of meat, but it also does have that extra fat. So you will see a lot of fat, a little extra fat come out of here. So this is looking great, looking great. All right. See that nice crust, the color, that brown, beautiful. My steak is almost ready. I'm going to add a little bit of butter, just for that richness again, that extra rich flavor that butter tends to do. Another tip you want to remember is when our steak comes out of the pan, it's very important that we let it rest. This creates the juices that'll actually just kind of recirculate back into the steak so they don't bleed all over the plate and so you don't lose all that flavor. So our steak is ready. So there it is, our beautifully sauteed ribeye steak. Now let's move on. We're actually going to create a beef stroganoff using our sirloin steak. So let's make our beef stroganoff. We got our sautoir getting hot. I have our sirloin all sliced up and ready to go. It's nice and dry. I'm going to season it. And you want to remember too, when it comes to sauteing, we want to use our tender cuts of meat. This is a fast, quick, dry heat method of cooking. So it's important that we use these tender cuts of meat. Again, seasoning both sides, salt and pepper. We're going to add a little bit of oil. Get it nice and smoky hot. Here comes that smoke. Again, very careful placing the meat in. This is going to be quick. So basically, I'm going to sear this quickly and take it out of the pan so then we can create the rest of the sauce. So you see it, very fast, very quick. Still going to be rare when I take it out of the pan because we are going to throw it back in. So we'll give it one quick turn and then take it out and save it. All right. So now our pan's still nice and hot. We're going to get our mushrooms. I'm actually going to add a tiny bit of butter in here. Just a little bit of that fat. The fat that's left in the pan. Maybe a little bit more oil. It's a little dry over here. So this is a great dish, really fast and easy, that you can make when you come home. You have a steak lying around, you want to do something different than just sauteing it or grilling. These are looking good. I'm actually going to add, these are some diced shallots. And you see that caramelization from the meat that's on the bottom, all that, the brown that's on the bottom? Those are great flavors that are going to make the sauce. At this point, I'm going to season our mushrooms just a little bit, our mushrooms and shallots. We're going to add a little beef stock. And this is going to deglaze. And really create a nice sauce. All that fond on the bottom, all those brown bits are now in our sauce. Here's when I add a little bit of Dijon mustard. And a touch of cream. This looks amazing. At this point, I'm going to add my beef back in. Let those flavors all come together. Maybe garnish with a little parsley, a quick chop of fresh parsley. So there you have it, another great idea for sauteing. So that's it now for sauteing. And now you know the specific principles for sauteing vegetables and meat. Next up, we're boiling.